You may not have perfect patterns, but this one is the bottleneck. This is what I'm going to talk about, the bottleneck of human movement, flexibility, and mobility. It's actually a topic, something that's mentioned in a video that Kelly Starret posted with a discussion with Gray Cook. It's an awesome video, and if you're a human movement nerd or just love fitness or just love human movement and science and biomechanics, there's going to be a link in the description. But the thing is that no one moves perfect. Everyone's going to have some sort of faults. But as a human body, we're designed to have these faults. You know, if you clean, power clean, muscle clean, full clean, whatever you want to call it, and you do it wrong, or you don't do it in the effective manner of technique, you'll get the position, and you can hurt your wrist or you get irritate your wrist. This is fairly common when you teach it. If you're not learning the proper technique or you're doing too heavy of a weight. And a lot of this has to do with not having proper flexibility. Like, for example, if you clean up into a front rack and you can't get your elbows high enough because you don't have the tight, flexible lats, what will happen, and you have tight forearms, your wrist is going to jam up and it can irritate here. But the problem is that your body can deal with some of it. So if you clean it wrong, you do it wrong, you're not going to get hurt right away. You might find a small irritation, maybe not, unlikely, because the human body can buffer a lot of these things. Kelly Starret talks about these things, and if you know anything about me, I'm a personal trainer. I love fitness. I love everything about human movement. It's more of what I love the most. And what's fascinating to me is how to make people move better so they get more power out of their body, make their body stronger, and just get everything working the way it's supposed to. Because the problem, one of my biggest fascinations is pain. Well, I don't, or not having pain. I used to have a lot of pain with my low back and issues with all kinds of problems that would prevent me from pushing myself. Then I came across Kelly Starret's information about stretching and mobility, and I tried everything he's pretty much shown. I watched hundreds of his videos, and I figured out a way to fix my problems or minimize my issues with my back, and it has allowed me to deadlift over 500 pounds, has allowed me to squat over 400 pounds, and has allowed me to bench press on a regular basis without injury. So this is kind of cool, and the main thing that I want to take from this video, or I want to talk about, is this bottleneck, because we're all designed we all move, and not all of us move perfect, because that's just how we are. We have things that make us not move so well, like sitting at a desk, like I'm sitting here talking. I need to get a mic stand so that I can stand. But anyways, my point is that what's ends up happening is people, your body can move, right? And it can make some movement faults. And the thing that Gray Cook talks about is this movement bottleneck. And what he references is that there's something in the way you move that's preventing you from doing better. And if we just fix this one thing, it's going to make your body move significantly better. Not perfect, but significantly better. And in the case of my ability to squat better, it's typically the thoracic extension and the ankles. And right now, I'll have to say ankles are probably the more important part, because that's kind of what's preventing me, because I pitch forward too much at a certain point in my squat. And if you think about yourself and you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to lift more weight, squat, bench, deadlift, power clean, snatch, having that one problem, figuring out what that one problem is going to take you to that next level. And sometimes it takes a really long time to figure it out. You got to get a coach, someone like me, or someone that knows human movement really well, or you learn it yourself. And you know what I found? I found that for me, because with my experience, the one thing that I found for assessing myself and making these videos and making my channel on YouTube is I've been able to assess myself and see how I move. And what I've noticed is that there are a lot of movement faults that I can improve upon. And since I got my iPhone 5S, I've been able to do slow motion videos better and take a look at kind of how I move. And it's been really cool. And the point is that find out what it is that you suck at, or you're not very good at. And try to figure out how you can make a significant improvement. What part of your body do you need to work on flexibility-wise, so that way you can get to the bottom of a squat or get rid of your butt wink. I'll tell you right now, the reason why people have trouble at the bottom of the squat are two main things. It is usually the ankles, or it's the hips or the inner thighs. Inner thighs and hamstrings. People will say hamstrings, but that's a little too general, because what will happen is if you have a tight core and you know how to, if you've been squatting for any period of time, you really tighten your core and you get enough load on your body, you can get down to a squat neutral spine. It may not be easy, but the thing is that you have to learn the motor pattern, because a lot of the time when people are losing their form or their butt winking and they're not moving the way they're supposed to, the reason why they do that is because they don't have the skill and strength to get into position. Now, people will argue, some people will say, well, it's because my mobility sucks and my body doesn't work the way it's supposed to and I have all these issues. Well, the thing is your body can figure out, with enough practice, figure out how to get in position if you do it right, if you learn how to get there. The thing is that what you need to work on when you're trying to work on mobility is you got to find that bottleneck. Figure out what it is about your body that you need to work on a regular basis. Because everyone stretches to a certain degree, but not everyone works on the same thing to make improvement on. And the one thing that I know for me is my ankles. Now for you, what is it? Is it your shoulders? Is it your chest? Is it your thoracic spine? Is it your... like for example, the front rack is a good example of something that's very difficult for me. And what's the things that makes my front rack the most difficult to do? And it is thoracic extension and tricep flexibility here. So if I work on those two things, I'm going to get good. I'm running into some form stretching flexibility, but that's not the bottleneck. I mean, it becomes a bottleneck later, but it doesn't become the bottleneck to perform the movement for front squats in the front rack position. So anyways, that's kind of my thoughts. Wanted to share that with you. And if you have any comments or you don't know what your movement bottleneck is, I might be able to help with it. Maybe post a link to your video that you do a squat assessment. And thanks for watching.